Okay, today we're going to take a look at the Email Blaster software, starting with the dashboard. So the dashboard, this is the first screen that you'll see when you log in. So looking at the top here, we've got a number of coloured tiles. The blue one, top left, tells us which package in terms of send volume this account is on and how many sends are left available throughout the month. So a send credit is basically one email. So if you've got a list of 500 people and you send to that list 4 times in a month, that will consume 2,000 email send credits. Moving along from there, we've got the credit booster pot. Now what this is designed to be is just an overflow pot. These credits you can purchase online at any point. These credits don't expire and you're welcome to use them at whatever time frame you want to. Moving along from there, we've got total number of subscribers. So here at Email Blaster, we don't charge you for the number of subscribers that you've got uploaded into the account. So you can upload as many lists as you want to, containing as many people as you want to. So pricing only kicks in as and when you want to start sending out emails to those people. And just to recap that, you purely pay based on the number of emails that you send. So moving down from there, next we've got an overview analytics. This just gives us a snapshot of the last 4 sends and what our send rate and our read rate is looking like. Next up across from here, we've got a calendar. So when you send out your campaign, you can schedule that campaign to go at any date or time in the future. So here we can see that we've got our month's activity listed, and we can click on any one of these blue circles here just to take us into that campaign. So moving up to the top here, we've got a search bar. So if you want to quickly search for a particular subscriber or a campaign, you can key that in. And across from there, we've got a help section. So you can raise a support ticket to us here at Email Blaster. So if you do that, you will get a reply within 15 minutes during a UK working week, that being Monday to Friday, 9 till 5:30. Support outside of those hours is available via email, etc. We've also got a live chat session here. You can start a chat session to us. We don't use AI or bots or anything like that. You will get through to a real person straight away. And there's also a video tutorial section here. And these are designed to be quick answers to quick questions. You can key in your question, for example, how to upload an image, and there will be a corresponding minute-long video on that. And at the top here, also accessed via the Gravatar icon, we've got the settings page, and on there you can create additional users if you want to with their own unique login credentials. You can switch on multi-factor authentication, and you can change company name and details, etc. Next up, we've got sender profiles. So these are your sending identities. When you send out an email, this will be the email address that recipients see as the sender of the email. You can create as many of those as you want to. Here we've got billing information. So this contains your PDF invoices of all of your billing history. If you're on a monthly subscription, we'll raise invoices about a week before the first of the month, and they'll be posted inside that billing section for you. Okay, that wraps up the dashboard. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at importing a mailing list into the software. So the mailing list needs to be in CSV file format, so standard Microsoft Excel. In Excel, if you go to File and Save As and select CSV as the file format type. So what you need here is, as a minimum, is a column of email addresses, but you can also upload other data such as first names, last names, etc. Okay, so we're going to go to the top navigation here, and moving along here, we're going to go to Import a List. Okay, we can click and drag to browse our computer, or what I'm going to do is just drag and drop one that I've got on my desktop. Okay, here's my file. So first section is to choose between businesses, consumers, or if it's an internal staff list. I'm going to say here that these are businesses. And we've generated this list ourselves. So when you import a list here, here at Email Blaster, in order to protect your sender reputation, we don't permit the usage of purchased or third-party data. We'd ask that anybody that you email has consented by nature of opting in to receive your communications. So let's write some text in here. Okay, so this piece of text in here is customer facing. It serves two purposes. Firstly, when you import a list, we take a quick look at that statement here and we're just checking to see there that it's an opted in list, etc. And also when you send out your email, as well as automatically having an unsubscribe link appended at the bottom, it will have a small piece of text that says, why am I receiving this email? And if people click on that, they're taken to this page that displays that little bit of text in there, just really to act as a prompt for anyone that may have forgotten how they joined the list. Okay, yes, we've got a positive opt-in. Okay, so we're self-certifying that for GDPR. Let's hit agree. Okay, now we can see our columns of data. So we don't need to do anything here. The software can see that these are email addresses. And next up, we've got first names. So we hit the column header here and we're mapping the data inside the software, and last names. And here we've also got company name. What you can also do here is for standard monthly accounts, it comes with the ability to import up to 50 other columns of data. So there's a lot that you can put inside the software. And we can create our own custom fields at the bottom here. So you can title these exactly as you'd want to, and you can put your own data in there. Everything that we import here in this section will be available for us to use as part of a mail merge later on. Okay, but for the purposes of this, let's just stick with company name. Now we've got the option to either create a brand new list or top up an existing list. So I'm going to create a new list, and let's call that Q4 marketing. Okay, so when you import a list, the software is going to run a scan on it. What it's looking for here are dead domains, people that have previously unsubscribed, and also duplicates as well. So it will run a clean when you import. Now we can also switch on, if we want to, just here, the ability to fix common typos. This is really handy. So if you've got email addresses, for example, inside your data, and where you may have accidentally transposed a comma instead of a dot, like instead of .com, you got .com or something like that, then the software will screen these and it will automatically clean those and it will fix those errors for you. So let's hit finish here. Okay, the software's now run that scan. As you can see, it doesn't take very long. You will now be emailed a full report if the software has removed anything or corrected any typos. Okay, so where we are now, we're now in the main lists section. This is where all of your lists live. They're organized into a folder structure. Now, by hitting the plus icon, you can create as many folders as you want to. So just to recap, there's no charge for this. You can have as many lists, as many folders, and as many people or email addresses uploaded inside the software. So here are all of our lists just here. And we can drag and drop. Okay, and we can also go into a list by clicking on it. Now what that shows us here is the email address and the other data that we uploaded. So we've got first name, last name, company name, and also in this it's recorded the date that these people have subscribed. Now there's also a tagging system just here. So we can create new tags here, and tags can be allocated to any group or individuals. So the purpose of that is it means you can start to segment your lists. When it comes to sending out your campaign, you can opt to either include or exclude tagged groups of people. Now everyone that you see here when you first upload is going to have a green active status. As and when you start emailing out, this may change. We can view that just here. So if I wanted to look at all of the unsubscribes, for example, we can do that just here. We can see all of the people that have unsubscribed historically from this campaign. And we can go into a contact card by clicking, and we can also see the activity feed here. We can see which emails these people have received and if they've interacted with it or not. And we can also see here it's tracking the details of when and where they subscribed. So you can download this contact card by hitting the export button. So as part of GDPR, you may be asked to provide details of when and how this person opted in or any data that you store on them. So the contact card is your route to do that. So let's come out of that now. Okay, other options on here. We've got this icon top left here means that you can merge lists together. The trash can icon means that you can delete lists. If you click on that, you'll see that the area opens up here to delete a list. So what you could do, we could drag a list into here and we can then delete that list. That's permanently deleted in accordance with GDPR. You can manage your own custom mail merge fields here, and also anywhere where you see the question mark icon means that there's a help menu available, so you can get access to videos, etc., or open a live web chat session with us. Okay, that concludes the list section. Okay, now we're going to look at how to design an email. So we're up to the top navigation, moving along, we're going to go to Build Campaign. Now we've got some choices to make. On the right here we've got My Gallery. This is if you want to create custom templates or master templates that you want to use over and over again. Next up we've got Code Email. This is if you've been supplied with your own HTML, so if you've used an external agency to design you something and they've given you the HTML, from there you can just cut and paste that in. But the route that we're going to take here is Design Email, so let's click on that. Okay, so the software contains a full library of pre-built templates that you are very welcome to use as a jumping off point for your own design. As you can see, there are lots and lots in here in all different styles, and we can also navigate between those sections as well. So if you're looking for seasonal emails, etc. There's also an AI builder up here. So you can use AI to go off and build you a whole template. You can specify your company logo, any branding. You can ask for direction of curated text and images, etc. And AI will go off and build all of that for you. So the route that we're going to take here is Design Email. So that's just loading. So the first job that we need to do is to give that campaign a name. So this is not customer facing. Let's call that Q4 Send. Okay, so the screen that we're looking at here is split into two parts. On the left here, this is the window where we're going to design our email, and on the right here, we've got all of the tools that we've got available to design that email. This is split into three parts if you look at the top here. Structure is for creating your wire framework. So think of that as like designing your basic layout of all of the boxes where you could drop content into. So here we can see we've got a 50-50 split, a 60-40 and split into thirds, and this one is 100% width. So all of these can be dragged around the page by just picking them up and moving them. We can hover over them, we can also delete them, just like that. Okay, so moving on from there, the next section is content. So this contains all of the blocks that we may want to insert into that framework. We've got things like text, images, buttons, dividing lines, spacers, social media, links to video, and you can also use AI text if you want to, and import your own HTML. So what we're going to use here is we are going to use an image block at the top. So we're just dragging over and dropping into the appropriate space. And now we're going to move down to this 100% width block, and we're going to put image in there. And we are going to put some text in here. And then we could have a button underneath. And we could also put a dividing line. And we could also put some social media links in. So now we're going to start populating all of that. So what we're going to do here, so if we hover over this, you'll see that we've got three options. X will delete it. The middle icon is a clone, so that will enable you to create a copy of it. And the third one is a pencil icon. So this one means that we're going to edit it, so we hit the pencil icon. So we're now inside that particular block. So if we move across to the right here, now I want to insert an image in here. So let's hit the image tile. So we're now inside the image library. Every time you upload an image, it will live inside here. The software groups these depending on when you've uploaded them. So here we can see they're all split out in month order. You can also create a folder system here if you want to. We have the plus icon there. So if you want to create a folder of everything that you might use quite a bit, like your corporate branding, for example, you can do so just there. We can also upload an image just there. If we hit that, we go into the file uploader, and you can upload an image, or you can also upload a PDF document if you wanted to link to it, for example. So I'm going to look for one that we've used before. So let's scroll down here, and here's a logo that I've used before. So let's click on that. and we hit use image. Okay, there's our image. So we could hyperlink that if we want to. That means now if anyone clicks on that image, it will be taken through to that web page. So here we've got the style option. Anywhere where you see the style option means that you've got a whole set of extra parameters that you can tweak and change. So here we could, for example, make that a little bit smaller. We could align it right, and we could push it down the page a little bit. Okay. Next up, let's look at that text block. So we know now that we hit the pencil icon. So I'm just going to delete the placeholder text that's in there, and I'm just going to put a telephone number in there. Okay, so here's that style option. So let's hit that, and we can change the font size. We can make that bigger. We can align that right, and let's change the color. So let's pick red, for example. So if you have your own corporate colors, if you've been given the hex code, you can cut and paste that into this section here, and the software will remember that color choice and it will put it down in the favorites section. So you only need to do that once. It will appear down here and the software will remember that. Okay, we could change the font if we want to. Here we are, let's make that a bit heavier. And let's push that down the page a little bit. Okay, so now we are going to look at this main 100% width one. So let's hit the pencil icon and hit the image tile. Okay, one of the other things that we can do is we can browse Pixabay for stock images. So let's click on that. Pixabay is a library of millions of professionally taken and edited copyright-free images. So all we got to do is search for what we want here. So let's search for wine bar, for example. Okay, and here's all the images of a wine bar. And let's pick one that we like the look of. Let's have this one and use that image. Okay, there's our image. One of the other things that we can do here is the software has an inbuilt cropping tool. So to save you the hassle of having to take the image into Photoshop, change it, and then re-import it, you can do all of this inside your mailer. So let's hit crop here. So this image is a little bit too tall, so I'm just going to shave a bit off the top, and then again a little bit off the bottom, and then I can reposition that. There we are, that's about right. Let's hit finish. Okay, that's done. Now I'm going to put some text in. So we're going to use mail merge here. So when we imported a list and we had first names, last names and company names, as we touched on, you can import up to 50 columns of data, and it means that all of this will be available to recall inside an email. This makes it great for personalization, but with this one all I want to do is just recall the person's first name. So I put my salutation in there, and to recall merge data we hit merge just there. So anything that you've imported will be available for you to see just here. So let's hit that. So now when that email goes out, all of these emails will be personalized to the correct first name. So there's that style option. So let's change that. Let's make the font bigger, and let's put some spacing around that, top and left and right. Okay, that's good. Okay, now we're going to look at the button. So this is our call to action button. Now what I want to do here is I want to link this button to a download, a PDF. So I'm going to have on here view our report. And if you just wanted to link it to a web URL, you can just cut and paste a web URL in that little box there. But I'm going to link this now to a PDF. Now I've already uploaded a PDF. So just to recap, to upload documents, we hit the grey file upload button. Now I'm going to link to this PDF just here. And there we are, that's where that lives. So if people click on that button, they will now be able to download our PDF report. Right, here's the style option, so let's style that. Okay, so now the software's remembered that red that we used at the top for the phone number, so I'm going to use that colour. Okay, we can bump the font size up a little bit and make that a bit bigger, a bit wider. See, there's all manner of different styling options here. We can round the corners a little bit. Okay, that's great. Right, next up I'm going to look at social media at the bottom here. Pencil icon, Okay, so we can add different social media networks. So all of the icon sets are already in here. So let's have Instagram, for example. And here we'd put our Instagram feed. I'm just going to put an example in there for now. We can reorder all of these by just dragging them around the page. And you can delete them with the trash can icon. Now I'm going to style these. So there's lots of choice of different icon sets that you can use, so you can come up with something that works with your design. And I'm going to select just the icon, and let's just have them in monochrome and circular. And again, I can put some spacing around them. There we are. Okay, so now we're going to look at giving it a subject header line. So this is recipient facing, and whatever you type in this box here means that people are going to see that as the subject header in their email. So let's type in here, welcome to our newsletter. Now one of the cool things that you can do here is you can use mail merge also. So I'm going to insert the person's first name here, so when that goes out it will be mail merged to each individual. And you can also use emojis, so let's put a smiley face in there. Okay, now we would want to preview this email. So I want to have a look and see what this is going to look like when it hits people's inboxes. So we go Actions, top left, and we now go to Inbox Preview. So the software is now rendering a copy of that so you can see what it's going to look like on desktop and mobile. So here we are. This is how this email is going to look on desktop. But we can also scan through here and we can look at all the various different mobile devices. Now we update this list pretty regularly as new devices are released. So the software will create what's termed as a fluid design. This means you don't need to do anything in terms of making this look great for mobile and for desktop. The software will automatically scale it. One of the things that it's done here that we can see is it's made this button bigger, so it spans 100% width for mobile, and also with the company logo at the top. Now all of these settings are on by default. You can override them if you want to. Okay. One of the other things we can do here, there's also an edit undo feature. So in this particular design session, the software has been tracking everything that we've done. So if I liked how this looked before I changed the subject header line, for example, I can just step back to that particular stage there. So let's come out of there. And you can also navigate backwards as well without having to use that menu system. Now I'm going to come out of this with save and exit here. So the software will auto-save every 60 seconds. That stops you being able to accidentally exit and losing the last 30 minutes worth of work, for example. So let's come out of there. Let's go back to the dashboard. Okay, so that concludes how to build an email. Okay, so next up we're going to take a look at the campaign screen. So we're back up to the top navigation here and we're going to go to campaigns. So this section is split into three main parts: unsent, sent and automate. Unsent is where all of your campaigns live that you've designed and not yet sent out anywhere, and when you send them they'll disappear out of here and they'll pop up again in sent. And automate is where all of your campaigns live that are associated with automated sends that you may have set up, and these could be long chains of emails that go on in the background behind the scenes. Okay, so let's go across to sent here. So one of the cool things that we can do here, if we want to clone a copy of a campaign and use that as the basis for our next send, we can hover over it and we can put a tick in the box, up to actions at the top, and we can go to clone campaign. And that will now create a copy of that campaign, and here it is again in unsent campaigns. So one of the other things that we can do here is we can preview. So if we hit the magnifying glass icon, here we can see a preview of that campaign, and we've also got some sharing options here. First up, we've got hosted. So this is a web-based version. So you can copy that URL, that's where your campaign lives, and you can post that on social media and people can then see a web-based version. And if we click at the top here, you can also embed this. So if you wanted to grab a copy of that and put that on your company website, you can just copy that code just there and put that on your website. And we can also download that as a PDF. This will print to PDF an electronic version of your mailer, and it could be on a single page, or if it's a long mailer, if you hit multi-page, it will chop this into logical parts and put it over several pages. Okay, let's come out of there. Back to the dashboard. Okay, that concludes the campaign section. Okay, now we're going to look at how to do a test send and then how to do a real send. So we're up to the top navigation here, and we now go to send test. So all we have to do is just drag and drop here. Here I'm going to drag over the campaign that we designed into box number 1, and box number 2 is our sender profile. So as we previously touched on, sender profile is your sending identity. You can have as many of these as you want to inside your account. There is no cost for doing so. This is how you will appear to the outside world. So I'm going to drag across mine. So here's my email address that will show as being from, send from, and reply to. Okay, so now we need to insert some email addresses that we want to test send to. You can type in more than one here, so if you need to get this signed off by colleagues, etc. before doing a real send, you can add as many email addresses as you want to. So I'm now going to hit test campaign. Okay, that's gone. We've now sent a test. So let's assume that everybody signed that off and it's good to go. Now we're going to do a live send. So let's go to send campaign. Okay, it's that familiar logic of dragging and dropping. So we just drag across the campaign. Next up, we drag across which list or lists we want to send to. So let's drag across this list, and let's navigate to the next folder and drag across this list, and let's put one more in there. So we can send a campaign out to more than one list. One of the other cool things that you can do here is you can send by tag. When we looked at the mailing list section, if you recall, we were able to allocate tags to groups of people. So what I want to do here, let's click on this list, and I just want to send to this tagged group of people. So I hit send by tag, and I'm going to remove all of the untagged people. So I only have one person in this tagged group. So let's select that now. Okay, and if you want to take mailing lists out, we just hover over and we just hit the X icon. Now we want to say who this is going to be from. So this is where we associate our sender profile. So I'm going to drag across mine. Okay. Now one of the other cool things that we can do here is if you're sending out to more than one list, you can hit suppress duplicates. So if my email address lives on list number 1 and list number 2, if you sent that out, I would receive that email twice because my name is on there twice. But you don't want to delete me from either one of those lists because I might have bought product number 1 and I might have bought product number 2. So you need me to remain on those lists. But if you hit suppress duplicates here, all that will do is it will just exclude my email address from this multiple send. So I will only get that once. It won't delete me because you don't want me permanently deleted, but it will just exclude me. Now by default, tracking is on, so it's tracking opens and clicks. If for any reason you want to switch either of those off, then you can do with that toggle switch. So here we can choose if we want to send now or schedule for later. I'm going to schedule that for later. So let's have that go Monday at 10 AM. Schedule send. Okay, let's hit confirm. That's all good. Okay, we've now scheduled that campaign to go out on Monday. So we are now, if we go up to the top, we're now on schedule to this screen here. Well, now one of the things that we can do here is if I have set that campaign up to go on Monday, but I now don't want it to go on Monday, if I want to change the time or make some edits to that email before it goes out, I can hover over it, I can put a tick in the box, and I can go to cancel sends at the bottom here. And that will post those credits back inside the account and put the campaign back into unsent campaigns, and from there we can edit it. Let's go back to the dashboard. Okay, that concludes how to send a test and how to send a live campaign. So next up, we're going to take a look at analytics. So let's go back up to the top navigation and we're going to head across to analytics. So this is the first screen that you'll see when you load analytics. We've got three choices here. We can either just quickly look at the last send, or we can go into a more detailed view if we want to start comparing sends or grouping sends together, or we can look at the dashboard and that gives us a snapshot of the last 7 days worth of sending and our headline figures. So we're going to go into sent. So let's go into sending history. So this is where we can compare different sends. So let's take a look at this send here, for example. We can multi-select here, so I could select more than one, or I could select all of the month's worth of sending history. So I'm going to look at view analytics just here. Okay, here is the first page of analytics. At the moment we're on opens, so we can see that we sent out 1.6k and we can see that we had 445 reads, and that equates to 27.5%. We can see all of the email addresses here of all of the people that are the latest engagements. So this is in real time, so all of these people will be added as and when they start reading. You could click just here to take you into the detail, and on here we can see the email address, the country of the mail server, the date, the time, whether they were desktop or mobile, and even which browser they used. We can export all of that data as a CSV or as a PDF, and let's come out of that now. Okay, and we can also look at the clicks. So moving down to clicks, and here we can see that this campaign received a total of 87 clicks, and that equates to a click-through rate of 19.6%. And the software will start compiling a league table in effect of these clicks. And here we can see that this login page received the most clicks at 28. And we can also see delivered just here. This is where we can have a quick snapshot of what our bounces are looking like. So this should generally be a pretty low figure. And we've got the split here between hard bounces and soft bounces. So a hard bounce is a permanent failure. The software will remove hard bounces after one failed delivery attempt on the basis that it's a dead account, so there's no point retrying. Soft bounces are retried over a period of a couple of days and they are excluded after 2 failed delivery attempts. And that could be, like here we can see we've got the reasons here: mailbox doesn't exist, or the mailbox was full at the time of sending. Okay, here we can see unsubscribes. And when you send out an email, as we've touched on earlier, the software will automatically append an unsubscribe link at the bottom, and it's managed for you. So there's nothing that you need to do here. You don't need to manually delete people. If they click on unsubscribe, they are taken through to a page where they are given the option to just unsubscribe from the list that emailed them, or unsubscribe from everything, and the software will remember that choice in accordance with GDPR, and they will be removed from everything inside your account. And we can see here all of the email addresses of the people that have unsubscribed. You can also add insight tracking. So what Insight is, it's kind of like our version of Google Analytics. It's a small line of code that you append to your company website in the head section, and it means that it will add web visibility to this page that we're looking at here. If I click in a link in your email, for example, and I then go through to your website, Insight will start tracking which pages I looked at, how long I spent on each page, and what the exit point was. And it will start also compiling an average user journey. This is really handy as it takes your visibility much, much further than just email clicks, etc. So everything is exportable here. We can hit export and we can download all of this data as CSV or as a PDF. So let's come out of here. Now, one of the other things that we can do here is we can compare. So I've already got this campaign selected. If I look at the one below it as well, so I've now got 2 selected, and on the left here, if I hit compare, and we've got then got the criteria that we want to compare. Let's compare selected sends here, but we can also we can compare by list, so you can look at the performance of a list at different times, or you can see how different subject header lines fared. So let's hit load comparison. Okay, so it puts all of this in easy to follow column format, and the best performing area of each is highlighted in this darker blue colour. So we can see here that campaign number 1 got a slightly better delivery rate and also a slightly better click-through rate. And scrolling down here, we can see bounces, we can see unsubscribes. This is a really great tool that helps you to really get the most out of your email marketing and a great deal of depth over your analytics. So let's come out of here. Let's deselect this one. Let's go back into this one for a moment. Let's go to View Analytics. Now you may have noticed there's a little play button here. This is on each of the main header sections. There are tutorial videos, very short videos embedded inside here. So we could, if we wanted to, just click on one of these here. And there we can see that a quick video will now open up and it will start playing and it will give you a quick walkthrough. These are really handy, so if you ever get stuck and you need a little bit of a heads up, there is always a corresponding video in all of the different sections. Okay, so let's now go back to the dashboard. That concludes the analytics section. Next up, we're going to take a look at the apps section. So we're back up to the top navigation. So let's head across to apps. So what apps are? These are designed to take you over and above just the very basics of uploading a list, designing a mailer, sending it out, and then taking a look at the stats. If you're on a standard monthly account, these are all included. There is nothing additional to pay for. You get access to all of these apps. They're not Premiere features or anything like that. So we've got a subscribe form builder, first of all. You can use Subscribe to create web forms to add new subscribers to your account. That form can be embedded inside your website. It could be floating, it could be pop-up, or it could be a standalone. You can also share it with a QR code. It's GDPR compliant and double opt-in. So it means that if I complete that form, I'll receive an email and I would need to engage with that email by clicking to register my wish to opt into your list. So it's a totally GDPR compliant workflow. Next up is Dupe Remover. Now this does exactly what you would imagine it to do. It will scan your list or lists and look for duplicates. It's a good way of just maintaining really good list hygiene. Next up we've got Spam Score. So this is hooked up to all of the major email service providers such as Outlook, Gmail, Apple Mail, etc. And it will run a pre-flight check on what you're sending and it will let you know how inbox friendly those organizations think your email is. So if you've got anything in there that needs addressing like spam phrases such as free or discount, etc., the Spam Score app is a great place to start. My Gallery is where all of your custom templates will live. API is for creating integrations between our software and any third-party piece of software. So it gives you the ability to allow your software to talk to our software. So your CRM system, for example, if you've created an integration with the API, when you update records at your end, like put on a new client, for example, that could then be automatically fired inside Email Blaster via the API. So it ensures that everything is always in sync and it's always totally up to date. Suppression is where all of your permanent unsubscribes live. So all of the people that have asked to be unsubscribed from your future mailings, they will all live inside Suppression. This is really handy if you're coming across to us from, say, an American-based supplier. It means that if you can get hold of a list of unsubscribes, which you will be able to download that from your current platform, then you can upload that into Suppress. And it means then that when you upload new data into Email Blaster, your new mailing lists, they will automatically be screened against your previous, say, MailChimp unsubscribed, for example. And it means then that the switchover is nice and seamless. You're not then accidentally emailing people that might have unsubscribed 2 or 3 years ago from your current American supplier. List Builder is for data segmentation. It will look at previous campaigns and it will give you the ability to run off lists of people depending on how they engage. So for example, people that received your email and read it and clicked on a link or read it and didn't click on a link, you can start to create really targeted data subsets. Next up, we've got both Reseller Manager and Reseller Client. Now, these are two halves of the same app. This is for creating a networked series of email blaster accounts. So you could have your administrator with all of the billing information would have a Reseller Manager account, and you could then have all of your users having Reseller Client. It means that you can share some information and not other information. It's a great way of networking accounts together, but also ring fencing if you don't want each user to be able to see what other users are doing. Automate is really handy for working with Subscribe. Automate is for setting up automated chains of drip campaigns. For example, if a new subscriber joins your mailing list via Subscribe, you could use Automate to then start listening to that subscribe form and to then start sending out a timed series of emails, say a newsletter once a week, like onboarding, for example, for new clients, out to those people. And it can also be decision based. So if you've got a link in there to, say, product number 1 and a link to product number 2, if a person clicks on a link to product number 1, you can then say to Automate, okay, send this person this series of automated emails that all relate to product number 1. This is a great way of automating your email marketing, and it means that everything is just chugging along nicely in the background with minimal input from you. FileCloud is a librarian app. This is for just keeping all of your images nice and neat and tidy. It's a handy way to just, you can create folders in there, etc., and just keep everything nice and separate. Insight we touched on earlier. This is our version of Google Analytics. This is where you can get the code to pass to your web developers to add to the head section of your company website, and it opens the door then to Email Blaster's analytics being able to see and display to you what your email clickers are doing when they visit your website. A/B testing is for automated split testing. So you can use the A/B test app to set up small segments of your database to receive part A and again part B or even part C. And you could measure different elements against each other. It could be different send times, different sender profiles, different subject headers, etc. And A/B test will then send out the winning segment to the remainder of the database. For example, if subject header line A scored the best, then the remaining 90% of your database will all receive the email with subject header line A. Okay, now we're going to go back up to the top and back to dashboard. And that concludes the apps section. So next up, we're going to take a look at sender profiles. So back up to the top here, we're going to click on the Gravatar icon. We're going to go to sender profiles. So sender profiles are your sending identity. You can have as many of these inside the account as you want to. So if different users are using the account, everybody can have their own. So if I click on my one, for example, here we can see my send from name, my send from address, and the reply to. So these just need to be a working mailbox. It would need to be a company domain, so the likes of Yahoo and Gmail, etc., will not permit you to use those free addresses for the purposes of email marketing. So it just needs to be your company domain. Okay, so we can add a new one just by hitting the plus icon. Now, one of the things that we would need to do here is something called domain verification. And we can see here that these two are successfully verified because the shield is green, but this one is currently not verified. So if we click on this, for example, we can see here, this is the domain verification. Domain verification involves adding a seal of authenticity to your company domain name. You would do this via the control panel. So if you're with someone like 123reg, for example, you'll have a control panel. And for domain verification, you need to key in 3 paths of information: SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. So the software we can see here will tell you exactly what you need to put in. There's also a downloadable guide if you need to pass this on to your IT people to do. It's just quite simply a case of copying that information, and pasting it into the settings for your domain name. Now it's quite important to do this. Now the reason we need domain verification is to pass all of the safety and security checks by inbox providers such as Outlook, etc. They look to see that a domain name is successfully verified. It's there basically to protect against phishing or spoof emails. It means that you are who you pertain to be, which if you're using third-party software such as Email Blaster or any third-party software for sending emails, is something that you will need to have in place. It's very quick and easy to do, and we do support you every step of the way with a guide. And if you need a hand, you are of course very welcome to get in contact and ask. So if you're currently on a free trial account, you can upgrade this account whenever you feel you'd like to join us as a full monthly customer. If we go across here to upgrades, here we can see that you can purchase either Credit Booster credits here, or if we upgrade at the bottom, we can go to a monthly package. So we could select whichever monthly package we wanted. Now, as we briefly touched on at the beginning of this tutorial, these are based in email send credit volumes. So 1,000 emails a month means that we could consume 1,000 email send credits. That could be one email to 1,000 people or 10 emails to 100 people, for example. You can use them at whichever rate you want to. You can move that monthly subscription up or down via the upgrade store here at any point prior to the first of each month. So if you're on 5,000 and you wanted to upgrade that to 10,000 for the next month, you could just click on there at any point before the first, and that will automatically kick in on the first. If you need credits before then, if you've run out of credits, the easiest way is just to buy them via the Credit Booster top-up system. And that means that you'll get those credits immediately. You don't have to wait until the first of the month. You're welcome to contact us. You can do that at the top here. You can raise a support ticket to us. As we touched on earlier, if you raise a support ticket during UK office hours, you will get that answered within about 15 minutes. You can also start a live web chat session if you've got any quick questions that you need help with. We don't use chat bots or anything like that. You will get through to a real person immediately. And there's also a video tutorials section here. Now this is a really handy jumping off point. They're designed to be quick answers to quick questions. And here we can see that if we wanted to search for, say, all the videos that relate to images, here we can see that we've got a tutorial video on how to add images or cropping an image, etc. And they're also grouped in different subsections here, so you can find your way around quickly. Okay, thanks for watching this today. And if you need anything, you are very welcome to reach out to us whenever you feel the need to.